Hello there. We'll go ahead and start early. Why not? Get this countdown clock out of here. It's your YouTube friend Brad. Thank you for joining me here live. If you are joining me, I don't see that many folks here. But that's okay. Maybe some more folks will come in. As you saw, maybe in my last live video, I did a test of checking out the live stream and seeing if people are interested in that and coming here and hearing some on this date from the topic that normally is on this channel, the Howard Stern Show. So we did a little on this date, and we had some interaction and talked to some folks in the comments, and I really enjoyed that. So I thought maybe we'll try like an on this date pop culture. Things that I just look up sports wise, music wise. I really enjoy music, so we'll talk a little music here throughout, and then maybe at some point, if this becomes something people enjoy, I'll do this more, and we'll give away prizes. Maybe we'll make this a game show, because my goal in my mid-40s is to be a game show host. Anyway, so please comment, subscribe, like in the chat. Again, I'll be doing more of these. We'll see if people are interested in this. We'll see if it gets the following, if people enjoy hearing on this date kind of things, and birthdays, and all that good stuff. Sports, music, pop culture. And again, I do a lot of Howard Stern stuff. I had just a live stream here a little bit ago. And we had a little interactivity. We had people commenting, and I was commenting back. And so we'll be doing that more with that group. But this is a different thing here. And we'll start with the title. So in the title, you may have seen on this date, I mentioned The Rock and I mentioned Drake. The Rock last night on SmackDown was gold. I don't know if you guys are fans of the WWE. I'm not that big, but I enjoy when The Rock comes back, or get some of these people from my youth. And The Rock came back, was in full heel mode. So we'll look back on this date, how The Rock, what he was up to, and then I went to the Drake concert this week in St. Louis. I went on Tuesday. Was it Tuesday, Wednesday? I don't even remember. And I was gonna give my thoughts on that, but take a look back at some of Drake's moments on this date as well. So let's talk about this date for birthdays. Today, the GOAT. Who's the GOAT? The GOAT is Michael Jordan. There is no other GOAT. You can't have more than one GOAT. Then it wouldn't be a GOAT, right? The GOAT is Michael Jordan. He is 61 today. Happy birthday to the GOAT, Michael Jordan. I can't imagine that there's any other GOAT. If you want to say the GOAT of football, okay, Tom Brady. All right, he's the GOAT of football. The GOAT of rock and roll, Elvis Presley. But the GOAT of basketball, the GOAT really in sports is Michael Jordan. He's 61. Happy birthday on February 17th, 1963. MJ was put on this earth. So we appreciate that. Also, today's birthday is Ed Sheeran. Not a huge fan, but happy birthday to Ed. 32, I believe. Born in 1991, so he'd be 33. That's Ed Sheeran is 33. Happy birthday to Ed Sheeran. Billy Joe Armstrong, born on this date. He is 52 years old. Happy birthday to Billy Joe from Green Day. And a sad birthday today, a posthumous birthday. Taylor Hawkins, Foo Fighters drummer. He would have been 52 as well today. It's unbelievable that Taylor Hawkins is no longer here. I still haven't seen the Foo Fighters with their new drummer, but if you're in the comments, let me know how it's been. If you've seen it, I was gonna try and go and maybe take a flight to one of these places they were at this last summer. It felt like a little much. So, give me some comments on that. On this date, in 2021, Rush Limbaugh passed away as well. That was kind of sad. Here's not a sad moment, though. The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon debuted in 2014 on this date. It seems weird that it started in February, but Jimmy was already doing the late night show before this, and now he was doing the Tonight Show. So Jimmy Fallon debuts on this date in 2014. On this date, in 1992, Jeffrey Dahmer, convicted to 15 consecutive life terms, later killed by a fellow prisoner. Jeffrey Dahmer, I can't believe that he kind of made a comeback in the last year, did he not? I mean, everyone's watching Netflix, and now it's like, this guy ate people, but people enjoyed it. So Jeffrey Dahmer, on this date, was convicted in prison, and he died soon after. Rest in peace to Jeffrey Dahmer. How about some music on this date. Now, I'm a huge music fan, and I like looking back on these dates and seeing who was at the top of the charts. I'm Casey Kasem, and this is who was at number one. 1984, Karma Chameleon. It was number one for the fourth straight week in a row. But before that was Owner of a Lonely Heart. After that, Van Halen and Jump went to number one, and then after that, Thriller by Michael Jackson. By the way, the charts back then, you move on to March 17th, it's Girls Just Want to Have Fun by the Cyndi Lauper. So you had Cyndi Lauper, Van Halen, Michael Jackson, Boy George, and Yes. You could just listen to anything in those days, back in 1984, maybe one of my favorite years. Flip forward to 1999, number one on this date, Baby One More Time by Britney Spears. This was her fourth, it was her third week at number one. I was kind of confused at Britney Spears' song. I thought that came out in 98, but Baby, I guess it did come out in 98, and then by the beginning of 1999, she was number one with Baby Hit Me One More Time, followed the next week by Share and Believe. So that was what's number one in 1999. How about 1982? J. Giles Band, Centerfold, great song. This was number one for 3 straight weeks. So congrats to J. Giles Band. I didn't realize that song was that popular back then. But back on this date in 1982, Centerfold by the J. Giles Band. 1981, if we want to look at that. Dolly Parton, 9 to 5. She's a funny story. She talks about that when she started the song with her fingernails. So, do you guys remember that song? Who's here? Anybody here? Say hello if you are. Like, subscribe. Again, I'll be doing these just if you're just joining me live now. On this date, pop culture, thinking about doing a game show where I get people to start interacting and give me their first answer, and then I'll give them prizes. I give prizes. I like to give prizes out. 1981, number one song on this date was 9 to 5. 1987. Who knows what song was number one in 1987? This is a rock anthem. Living on a Prayer. Bon Jovi. This was the week that it went to number one, and it stayed at number one for 3 straight weeks. It was followed by Huey Lewis and the News. Jacob's Ladder went to number one after that. It knocked off Madonna's Open Your Heart. So Bon Jovi, yeah, your graduation year, all right. 1987 of high school? Well, thank you for joining me, Jay Cher. 1987, that's the number one song. 1989, the number one song in America. Straight Up, now tell me, do you really want to love me? Paula Abdul. Paula Abdul was ruling the world. I actually did a deep dive on Paula Abdul. I mean, on the internet, I didn't get a chance to really dive into Paula Abdul. I would have back then. I still might, actually. But Paula Abdul, Straight Up, I thought, wow, that song, that was a big song. She had a lot of big songs in that year, though. Straight Up was number one for 3 straight weeks, right around this time. The song before that it kicked off the charts was "When I'm With You" by Sheriff. I like that song. I think it was a song that came back on the charts after being off the charts for a few weeks. But Straight Up was number one in 1989 by Paula Abdul. In 1990, on this date, Paula Abdul, Opposites Attract. She was on the charts for a full year, and she was banging out number ones with that damn album and The Cat. And Opposites Attract was a big hit, and that was my 8th grade year. I totally remember it because I remember I was in math class, and the teacher said, "Now, what do opposites do?" And I said, "They attract." I think I was right, too, but my teacher wasn't really happy with me. So, again, we're doing On This Date. We're looking back at pop culture. We've already talked about some birthdays. Michael Jordan, it's his birthday today. Happy birthday to the GOAT. And Billy Joe Armstrong of Green Day, it's his birthday. Happy birthday to him. 1993, the number one song. It was number one from the beginning of the year all the way through March. Anybody out there? We got two people watching. Anybody want to take a guess? 1993? We already mentioned Dolly Parton. That's a hint. Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You. The song, you couldn't go anywhere without hearing that song in 1993. Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You was 7 straight weeks on the charts. It was taken off the charts by A Whole New World by Peabo Bryson from the, was it Aladdin? I didn't see that movie. Buddy of mine really does a good job of that, karaoke. And then on this date in sports, Joe Louis knocked out Gus D'Orazio in the second round in Philadelphia to defend his world heavyweight title. Remember when boxing matches were big? Well, 1941, Joe Louis was big. Not much sports news on this day, by the way. Just be ready for that. Her and Selena were the family. But you can't have 2 goats. You can only have one. You can't have Whitney and Celine being the. There's one goat. Basketball in 1968, the Basketball Hall of Fame opened up. 1968. I would have thought it was older than that. 1998, the U.S. women's hockey team won the gold medal. I remember that being a big deal for the women. And 2013, Danica Patrick. Celine is the GOAT. Okay, we'll go with that. Danica Patrick wins the 500 pole, becoming the first woman to secure the top spot for any sprint race. So that's what happened on this date, pop culture wise. Now, again, I talked about The Rock earlier in the day in this live stream, talking about his comeback to the WWE, and just was curious, like, what was The Rock up to before this? So, 1997, he was still Rocky Maivia, and he pinned Leif Cassidy in 1997 on Raw. 1998, now he's with the what was the name of the Nation of Denomination, whatever. He was part of the. He got pinned that day by Steve Blackman. Then in 1999, now Rock is headlining. We're at a house show, and he defeats Mankind. This is when they were in the big title run. So Rock defeating the Mankind. And then in 2001, it was No Way Out, and he pinned The Undertaker. But The Rock is back in WWE. I would love to hear from you if you think that is an interesting thing. On to Drake news. Now, I was talking about Drake because I went to his concert and was interested by hearing Drake. Drake in 2011 topped the Billboard charts for the second week in a row, helping out Jamie Foxx with "Fat Fall for Your Type." I've never heard that song. I got to be honest, I don't know much about Drake, but I was wow, he's been around this long. I had no idea. On February 19th, he tops the Billboard rap songs for 9 weeks, helping out Nicki Minaj. So, Drake was big. I'm not going to go through all the Drake stuff. We had 4 viewers today. We had more on the Stern. Okay, so let's see. Maybe we do more Stern. I don't know. I appreciate Jay Sher coming in. Maybe Jay Sher gets a prize. Maybe I'll just have to figure out how to get you a prize for coming in and commenting and being interactive here on the live stream on this date pop culture show. Again, I was telling people, if you haven't been in here yet, that I was thinking about doing a trivia show and maybe making it interactive and giving away some prizes. I do a Stern thing on this channel a lot of times, and a lot of people come in for that. But I'm just trying to do some new things here. We could tag some products, so you can go buy some products that I've tagged here and get me some commission. We'd love that. Super Thanks is turned on. You'll see when I close this out, I'll put in the description. I have a shirt shop, so if you want to go buy some shirts. What happened on this date in your life? You know what I actually remember? This is ridiculous. I'm going to tell you a story, though. I just thought of this. February 17th, 1989. I remember writing this down. I got my 10,000th baseball card as a kid, and I counted them all up. I had a lot of time on my hands. I don't have as many now, but I had 10,000 at that point. I'm going to wrap up this live stream. If you enjoyed this, hopefully you did. Not many joined. That's fine. We'll try it again. I think the whole point is to get continuity. So maybe we'll do this trivia or on this date at 5 o'clock or something like that. We'll see. We'll see what happens if people are interested, and we'll do this together, and we'll give away some prizes. People love prizes, right? I used to do a sports talk show, and I would give away prizes, and people would call and ask for free stuff, and I'd give it to them. So maybe we'll figure out a way to give away free stuff. But I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. Thank you, Jay Sher. This has been awesome that I don't know your name, but I know your name's Jay Sher on here, and I appreciate you being interactive. That's the point of this. We're going to try to be interactive, have some fun. Trying out the live stream, having some fun. We'll see you next time. Keep subscribing. Bye, everybody.